publicity coordinator. But we're not here to see, you're here to see two gentlemen to my left. I'm very, very proud and happy to introduce the co-creators of Our Last Airbender and Legend of Korra, Brian Tedesco and Michael DiMartino.
We're here in San Diego right before the final season of Korra hit.
Yeah, we were just reminded that it was the news that book 3 had gotten taken here was like an hour before we drove down here. Yeah, so much has transpired since.
Quite a bit has transpired, and you know the series, the final season was beloved by fans. As was. Did you guys like the final season? Like I said, it's been a while since the final episode aired, and you guys have had a little bit of distance. Looking back, so what was the most rewarding aspect for you guys as was putting together the series as a whole?
Well, that's the big question.
Yes,
yeah, I mean,
no small questions at the Avatar.
Yeah, I think coming off the finale, it's been so great to see how much it connected with everyone, especially at the very end of the series. We still get messages and people sending us books of letters that people wrote. It's just the outpouring of emotion and support and gratitude has been awesome. So thanks to everyone who's put their words out there and supported the show.
Yeah, like right after the show finished, I did a big road trip and I went and taught at our alma mater, and you gave a lecture there, and I kind of turned into this mini impromptu lecture tour where I was lecturing at a few colleges, and yes, I went from just a really kind of quiet 2 months teaching to this insane interaction with all these students, but it was amazing, and so it was sort of like what the letters might describe, in person, and I kind of emptied the hard drive right after the show ended, but then it got full again. It's been amazing, and overwhelming.
Let's talk about that ending really quick. I mean, there was a pretty hugely positive fan reaction to that incredible ending. Did you guys expect that fan reaction was going to be as large and as positive as it was?
I mean, we didn't know, really. I mean, we knew people would, hopefully enjoy it, but you never know, and you never know, how much they're going to enjoy it, what it means to people. I think it's like I was saying, it's not just oh, that was a cool show, we really enjoyed it. It's touch people on an emotional level in a way that maybe I didn't expect, probably.
You kind of get it. I mean, you're going to get, no matter what you do, statistically, you're going to get every reaction. It just depends on, it's like the proportions change or something. And as I had explained in my post, it was the same on Avatar. If it's a romantic thing, if you choose one pairing, a certain number of people are going to be happy, and a certain number of people are going to be unhappy. That was well written. The other people will be like, that was garbage, And then a smaller percentage will be like, why are they doing this at all? And those proportions are going to change. And the people on the losing side are going to say, you're just placating those people. And it's like, well, we're just making sure we like it and that we feel like it's right and organic. And in this case, we really did. And we explained it in this place. But we were slowly and kind of subtly working towards it through books 3 and 4, and then it just felt right.
So Legend of Korra obviously has ended, but what has not ended and is still going on is Dark Horse Comics is continuing the legend of Avatar: The Last Airbender through comics. Our 4th series, Smoke and Shadow, with these guys behind the helm along with.
We turn the lights down.
Yeah, can we turn the lights down a little bit? So the people can see. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that wonderful, wonderful art right there.
We're really lucky to have here, the amazing art team from Japan. These 2 really nice women who are just so consistent and talented and such good visual storytellers. And then
and then Jun Yang is the writer of the comics, and he is he's blowing up everywhere, man. He's been nominated for like the National Book Award for his own books, and he brings such a thoughtfulness and kind of emotional depth to the characters that's been really awesome to see come to life.
And like historical and cultural depth too. He's a very educated guy who takes a real interest in that stuff and has a real respect for it, and that's cool. He's always blowing me away. Yeah.
On top of that, Gene's actually, much like us, a huge fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I mean, I remember talking to him, and he was thrilled to be able to continue the adventures of Team Avatar.
Yeah.
We're lucky to have the three of them. They're incredible. And Dark Horse. Some great people at Dark Horse.
Oh, thanks,
That
guys.
happened.
Your check's in the mail. This is our, like I said, our fourth series. How many of you guys, by show of applause, have read and enjoyed the Avatar comics? Not read and enjoyed the Avatar comics, you should, because they continue the story of Avatar: The Last Airbender. These guys are behind approvals for every panel, every script, and it's really faithful to what the show put together. And
And you can find out what happened to Zuko's mom. People still asking, what happened to Zuko's mom? Like, that's why we made the comic, so you can go read about it.
At the very least, you could probably go on Wikipedia. So.
Well, yeah.
And if you are interested in picking them up, we've got copies at the Dark Horse booth, number 2615. But we're gonna show you a little bit of artwork from Smoke and Shadow. The first volume is coming out in September. I really like that. That mirror here. It's really lovely.
And those are creatures you saw in Korra. Right?
Yeah, the
Dolphins, flying dolphin thingy.
But it's great because it really does sort of continue the evolution of these characters. And when you guys first entered into this creative partnership with Gene and Gurihiru, did you sort of see the story continuing as long as it has? Like, we're in our fourth volume now.
Probably not. I mean,
I don't think so.
yeah, it's been cool to it's just kind of approaching the Avatar world in a different way. The stories I feel like are a little bit, even though they're still epic and there's cool action and stuff, they're a little more personal. I feel like, not that we didn't do that on the show, but like, especially with Avatar and Korra, like every season had to have kind of like the big finale, or like it was often like, a very large conflict or something, and these are a little bit smaller stories that explore different sides of the characters that way.
I mean, it really does seem like it's given you a chance to explore sort of aspects and characters that the animated series didn't necessarily have time to cover. What's been the most fun? Thank you. The most fun elements for you about getting to do these comics?
I mean, like you said, yeah, it's just getting to stick with the characters a little longer and see what it's like, even though the end of the series was probably one of the biggest moments in all these characters' lives. Like, their lives did go on, as we allude to in Korra, and assuming they had many other adventures along the way. So get to kind of explore some of those.
Yeah. For me, like I know there are a lot of fans of the show that like would take issue with this, but like I don't feel the need to like keep hanging out with the characters. Like we have a story to tell, and we told it, and yeah, like I imagine, and in my heart they keep living, but like I don't need to like see them go to the grocery store. And,
That's the next volume.
Yeah. But and it's I don't want these things to just live on as like these kind of like third-party licensed franchises that they just keep spewing out things and stuff. And these characters mean too much to me, and this world means too much to me. So it's hard to like hand it over to another team unless you have a team like Gene and Gurihiru. It's like and Dark Horse and Mike. Mike really supervises this stuff. I check in and give notes here and there, but Mike's really on top of it. And it's like when it's that well cared for and in such talented, capable hands, then it feels good. Like I feel good when I see I walk into a comic store and I see those like lined up, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. My kids just like they graduated college.
We feel pretty good about it too. Everybody in this room, as well as everybody in Dark Horse. I know that you guys are also pretty big comics fans yourselves. I mean, the visual storytelling medium is certainly different than animation. what do you guys think the advantage is for that type of storytelling that comics offers? I mean, what's the advantage here rather than doing something, say, in animation?
The advantage is we can do it a lot quicker, and we don't need hundreds of people, and it's not that much quicker, I guess. Well, it's obviously a smaller team, but yeah, it's just the resources required to, animate a story like that are a lot. A lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of pain. Yeah. So yeah, for me, it's a cool way to get to tell some more stories in the Avatar universe without the commitment of another series. Sorry.
This is the slide up right now is a shot of Team Avatar from the cover of The Search, which is the volume where you get to find out what happens to Zuko's mom. No spoilers, any of you, I swear.
She's at the grocery store.
So that's volume 2, and then volume 3 was The Rift, which was a Toph-centric story. You guys like Toph? I know that Gene's a big fan of Toph as well.
Yeah, he was really excited when we got to this story because he wanted to do a big Toph one.
Yeah. So, and on top of that, how many of you guys are a fan of the art that's on the show? You guys a big fan of the art? On August 4th, we actually have a poster collection of a lot of the art and a lot of beautiful landscapes that are on the show. This will be available again August 4th. So, check it out online. Go to your local comic shop. They'll be able to get you a copy of this. But if you need to scratch that art itch right now, Dark Horse has done a series of art books for Avatar and Legend of Korra. And Volume 4 is coming out very soon. Yeah, give me an applause. That's fine.
We worked really hard on this one. We had to finish this up after so we finished the series. I went and taught, and we came back and we had to do this book. So I was like still working on Korra. So I'm really, really, really happy with how this book came together. It's quite beautiful. It's just these are really fun for us and satisfying because sorry, Steve, I cut off your.
No, you're good. I'd rather listen to you talk.
Well, just the Korra crew. I've said it many times. I'll say it again. They were like a family, and they were so unbelievably talented and dedicated, and got along so well. It was just I was like, man, I wish this wasn't such a stressful situation, so I could enjoy working, like really savor working with these people more because it was a blessing to have them. But putting together these books is almost like it's like a love letter, like a family album of all these memories and all the great hard work and sacrifices that all these people made, So it was a nice way to kind of like come back after the show was done and put this book together. And I'm proud of it. Not like this is mine. Like I'm just so proud of everyone who's worked in it.
You guys want to see some of the art that's going to be in the book? So Mike and Brian have done a really great job in commentary. If you can read the tiny print down there, that's all.
And Joaquin too.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about the design of Kuvira that went into season 4. I know you guys have spoken a little bit about it on panels before, but some of these folks here might not have seen those panels.
So you're talking about her design?
Yeah.
I just wanted something that would look cool in cosplay. That's how I designed it. Just imagine, how did they make that? This was, I was really excited to do a military dictator. We all know they're usually horrible. Well, they are horrible people, but they have cool outfits. So, yeah, I kind of had to, because we knew about Kuvira pretty early on, like in book 3, we already knew what she was going to become. And so we started weaving her into book 3. So I had the luxury of like working on concepts throughout like a year, which I don't usually have the time to do. So it was fun. It was just, once we came up with her costume, that set the motif for all the uniforms.
Brian, you also had the chance to work on some really lovely, beautiful landscapes and scenery for this. You see Korra's statue up in the park, and then lovely interior shot. You know, as you went to before, and you could see sort of the evolution of what Republic City would become. What was that like for you to go through that process, and for both of you, what was it like to go through that process of evolution?
Yeah, it was cool. I guess for book 4 it was like, and 3 too, like the whole spirit, like incorporating the spirit wilds into what was going on in the city was a cool challenge, and I always like to see like the urban landscape with like little hints of the spirit wilds in the background and stuff. And I like the 4 elements hotel.
Did Tim come up with that name? It's pretty exciting. Pretty hilarious. 4 Seasons joke.
And here we have a cool drawing, a document drawing of all the new airbenders that you guys did.
Yeah, that was the really ridiculous thing that we set ourselves up for with book 4. It was like, okay, we're exhausted. One last push. Let's redesign everyone. Because, you know, we jumped ahead 3 years, and everybody had to be updated, especially the airbenders, because we wanted to show that, like, you know, it's like they had gone through, like, you know, vegetarian CrossFit. Everybody had to be updated, and then but it was really fun coming. This is one of the costumes I was most proud of, and it took a lot of development, and we kicked it back and forth like between us.
Yeah, there's cool concepts in the book that show like how Brian and Monkey and then the designers figured out how the whole wingsuit would work and stuff.
How many of you guys went crazy when you saw that the airbenders were going to fly on those wingsuits?
Oh, yeah. We were working on it, and then the How to Train Your Dragon 2 trailer came out, and we were like, man, it looked cool. But it's not like either of us invented wingsuits. There are actual human beings flying around in these things.
Cora went through a couple of different looks in this, and this is her Earth Kingdom book. You know, this is probably the most amount of looks. Cora had more looks in this season than she had throughout the entire rest of the show. I mean, that was, it seems like it might have been a little bit of a challenge for you guys in a lot of ways.
Yeah, Laura Montgomery did those concepts, and we sort of combined. You can see the like elements that we combined to come up with that one. And I think Mike's caption on that was, you know, it sort of kept like her signature silhouette, but obviously, you know, recalibrated for Earth Kingdom look. So, it was fun. It's not that I get tired of the characters' looks, but it's like you get, you know, you just see it over and over and over again, making the show. So it's fun to like, you know, like it's like a fashion show. Put on something else.
This next piece that's in the art book might be one of my favorite ones in the book, not to oversell.
So this is. All of the times we had seen Aang in Korra, you know, the depictions of him or his spirit or flashbacks, he was always so serious. That was just what the story required of him. And, you know, I can imagine he had to be a lot of the time. He was a grown-up avatar in a really complicated world. And Angie, we needed this photo for the joke that the fishmonger had a photo of him, and Angie had just drawn him really serious, just because that's what we had been doing for a couple of years. And I was like, especially if there's ever a time to show that Aang is still Aang, it was, you know, if he's hamming for a photo. So we had Ryu draw it, and Ryu is the one who drew the original animation. He actually did the animation in Korea of Aang doing the marble trick. So it was like 10 years later, and they drew this, so it was really fun.
I feel like you couldn't have an art book and not include that image. It's fantastic.
That's what's cool about the art book for us. Like, there's so much art that goes into the show, and a lot of it you'll see for like a couple seconds, and it might be really small on the screen. And, so you can really get to like appreciate some of the detailed work that goes into the show.
And like, this is just a still. This isn't even animated. 4 people worked on that. Like 4 or 5 people. Like someone painted that background. It just goes on and on. It's just there's so much work put into every little frame.
It it really makes you appreciate knowing that 4 people worked on that still image, that how many people it takes to actually put together a full episode.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, those credits are there for a reason, right? We got this awesome painted spirit tree here.
Yeah, it's painted by Craig Elliott, drawn by William King you.
We're just gonna sit here and bask in it for the rest of the day. We don't have anything else. It's just that. No, we've got some other really great stuff, and that name tag's just gonna keep falling down. So it's fine. I really liked this next pair of images as well because you don't really get a close look at them in the show, but I thought they were excellent. It really tells us a lot about their personality.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, like in the first series, the joke was that, you know, Sokka, even though he was a smart guy and like a MacGyver type, like he was just a terrible artist. So we had John O'Brien, one of our writers, who's a great writer, funny guy, terrible artist. So we had him draw all of Sokka's art. And maybe just scan it. And then at some point, I don't even remember when, we decided like, Milo should just be like amazing. Like he was like a Renaissance artist. You know? And not saying that I'm amazing, but I did paint that. But for a little kid, it's pretty good. So I actually painted both of them with Jojo Aguirre, and it was.
Here we have Korra's ending season 4 ending look. This is where she ends up and kind of what she looks like for the series after her Earthbender look. And again, we talked about it a little bit. Korra had a ton of costume changes and looks for this series. How did you guys end up landing on this one for sort of what her main look was going to be?
I kept pushing for a redesign of her main costume. I think we knew at some point she was going to end up back in Korra clothes, but I didn't want to just go back to the original outfit. Not because I didn't like it, but I just saw it as a chance to update it, and also, I mean, I think I say in the caption there. I thought it also showed that she had gone through a change. When you first see Korra, you know, the inspiration for her was like the teenage girls I would see at Mammoth snowboarding, you know? and so she was kind of like a teenager, like, you know, action sports person, you know, like the big boots, you know, and like a athletic shirt and the puffy like snowboard pants. And then I wanted to show that this is almost like a superhero version of that she was like on the Avatar. You know, like even though she was still
you have to deal with it.
you know, and like a more adult version of the Avatar. So yeah, and there were some versions I did. I remember Lauren Montgomery being like, looks too superhero-ish, so I dialed it back a little bit. And yeah,
I love that you basically just gave everybody here a really low-budget way to cosplay as Korra. It's like snow boots and the
yeah. I mean, you can do a modern version of it with like some goggles. That was the whole inspiration. I hadn't snowboarded in a long time when we were making Avatar, and I went up to Mammoth or maybe to Canada with a friend, and like, yeah, I went to Mammoth, and there were all these kids that live in Bishop, like they live there, so they snowboard every day. It's like their school team, and they're like, you know, these like 15-year-old girls catching like 5 feet of air in a half pipe, and they just looked like Korra. I was like, these girls are awesome. A couple years later, we created Korra, and we were talking about that.
We have some more awesome landscapes here, this time of a very familiar location for season 4. It was really cool when we saw Zafu for the first time, and getting to see sort of that epic metalness that came out of where Toph was just the only metal bender for a while. You know, talk a little bit about developing Zafu as a city and developing the culture, because this is so many years later after Toph was only the first metal bender.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a little while, I guess. But yeah, we just like this idea of Sue kind of establishing this almost utopian-like society of very, you know, skilled people, but like with anything, there can be like some problems with that, and she's kind of a very isolationist person in a way, and elitist a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, it's one of my favorite locations and cultures we've done. This has got a really cool vibe. Brian, the designer, did a great job with all the kind of Art Deco look to the design of everything from the buildings to the props. And
Yeah, that was fun.
The other thing that you get to see in these art books are storyboards for some pretty cool battle sequences. Like this one.
Joaquin dos Santos.
yeah, that's what Celia and Kubera are fighting. That's probably one of those. I mean, he has many cool sequences he's done over the years, but that was one of my favorites from book 4 for sure.
Joaquin's storyboards are like pretty much like key animation. I mean, he just sometimes even in between as well.
We've also got some shots of Republic City just empty, and I don't think I realized how many details were in the background of every shot until you see it just empty.
Yeah,
Like,
these were painted by Anthony Wu. He did some freelance for us. Really great painter. He picked up the style really quickly. I think William drew these, but man, there were so many done for this ending. And William has a really great quote in the book about this, the last push of doing, it was like, okay, let's have the battle in the metropolis, and let's destroy it. And it was just insane. And it not only like, oh, we're fighting, it's not like you're just fighting at street level, it's like up above. So you're seeing all of these buildings going off into the distance. And man, everybody just did such an incredible job. But it was like 3 episodes worth of that, so it was grueling.
We've also got we got some details on the hummingbird.
I want to see a cosplay of this thing.
Yeah. Next year it's gonna happen.
Steve's gonna do it?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I got a Fuji book on my, like I got a, skateboarding athletic store too. They probably have something. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get to see cool designs like the hummingbird here and sort of how it's all laid out. You can see the silhouettes of 2 people piloting it. And I think it's really cool just to see the level of detail that you guys and the entire animation team put into even the designs of stuff like this.
These ones have to be almost even more detailed because like this prop got built as a CG model after Brian. The designers do their 2D drawings of it. They get modeled, so they have to be very detailed, and you see every angle.
Yeah, this is JoJo and me again.
Then we got this lovely expanse.
Yeah, this is a fun one. This Christine Dion did the drawing along with me, and then Lauren Zurcher, an incredible painter, did the painting. And yeah, Lauren and I were looking at like aquariums with black lights for the color scheme. I wanted it to feel really otherworldly, and like I wanted it to be really clear that this was not a part of the spirit world we had seen before, and to be beautiful but a little weird and unsettling, So this kind of fluorescent lighting helped do that, I think.
Yeah, we got a couple more shots from the art book. We have this storyboard. I don't know if you guys know.
This is one of the very few storyboards I did for the Korra series.
Pretty incredible. And of course, we have a nice little shot of that storyboard. And because now everybody's feeling very nostalgic, now we're going to show you this. This is one of the extras that's in the book that.
Natasha presses with this.
So that's just a taste of the type of thing that you're going to get in the art book. And actually, Brian, you did for the Galileo Nucleus show one pretty cool piece of art that we're going to show here that's also in the book.
That was a cool event, yeah. Galileo Nucleus, they have a booth here. They're selling a bunch of the prints that artists did for this kind of tribute art show. They do these really cool, like, sort of tribute shows for pop culture stuff. And so they asked me to do a print. And actually, the exclusive that I did for Nick with Aang, which we're going to see tonight, that was in my head. Like, I was trying to think, I was like, oh, I want to do something with Aang and Korra to sort of, because the gallery show sort of fell on their 10-year anniversary. So I was trying to think of that image, but I think I just got back from teaching, and I was like, I don't know how to draw. And it just wasn't. It wasn't a bad idea. I just couldn't get that image to work. And then I was like, what if they were on a date? And those swan boats that I saw in Japan, and I was like, all right, I have to do this. So yeah, what was the guy's name? Lee Jung-soo. Yeah, Lee Jung-soo did the design of Harmony Tower way back in the development of Book 1. Emily Tetry painted that tower, and then I kind of took those assets and updated them, and then painted this and drew them, and yeah, it was really fun to do. I kind of could hear like distant, like jazz music, like playing, coming out of some little cafe or something. And I don't know, it was just fun. And then one thing, I drew it, and I forgot the city was destroyed. And I forgot there were like vines around this thing, and I almost turned it in. And I was like, no, isn't this nice? And I was like, wait, the whole thing got destroyed. I was like, that's kind of a weird date, It's just like the ruins of the city.
There are a couple of exclusive friends here at Comic-Con at Nickelodeon who got this one.
So yeah, a few months later I remembered how to draw. A little bit. At least as well as I know how to. And so I did this. And then made it into a stamp.
And then there was also
so this was kind of what I was trying to do when I was doing the gallery piece. So this is the signing poster. So this was my thought of a 10-year anniversary image. That was really fun. I enjoyed that. And it's sort of I remember I used to have all this guy with all paths, and then I had it break through, and it's got a little bit of a Maxfield Parrish homage going on. It's one of my favorite artists. So, yeah, if you guys go ahead, I think we might even have these as Dark Horse.
Yeah, unfortunately, all the tickets are given out, but we will have them. For those of you lucky enough to have a wristband, we will also have these at the Dark Horse.
If you don't get one of these posters for whatever reason, and you're still around on Sunday, we might still have some at next, so you could always go, give me a poster.
Because that's the whole point of Comic-Con, getting we went to the internet because that's where we go sometimes for some fan questions, and we got paired with this great image of Coral.
So adorable.
So these come from we asked fans to write into an email address that we had set up. We asked them to tweet their questions, put some stuff on Tumblr, and we curated them and took some of the best ones. So one of the questions was, were there any characters or concepts from the original series that you considered bringing back for Korra but didn't?
From the original series?
Yeah.
So as you can tell, we actually have not, we're not pretending we haven't heard these questions.
Yeah. No, this was down to the wire. We wanted as many questions together as possible. So
I feel like we got to do all the main things we wanted to do, which was revisit, Katara and Zuko and Toph in their elder years.
I guess they're wondering why we didn't cover Sokka or something like that.
Sokka was a little trickier. We did see him back in the day, but whatever his story was, just never kind of and I'm not saying I had a story for him, I'm just saying that it never kind of dovetailed with what was going on in the present day story in a way. That's kind of why we brought a lot of the older characters back, is they had to have some sort of contribution to what was going on in Korra's life. It wasn't just a cameo appearance by Zuko,
Or a little history exposition.
Yeah.
there was honestly a ton of questions about Sokka. They got people were like, what happened to Sokka? What happened to
Hey,
him?
that's why we have Thomas.
Yeah, man, he had a job.
We're gonna do a one shot of him buying groceries.
He's also he actually works at the grocery store.
Which character would you guys say had been portrayed the most accurately from how you imagined them?
Been what?
Which character was portrayed the most accurately from how you imagined them originally?
Oh, I think we did an okay job at all. they just become so real to us, I think, the that like the version you might have had in your head before the design was trimmed down and before the voice was cast, and before they had a lot of dialogue written and like storyboarding and animation done. Like there might be a foggier version, but that process I just described, it solidifies that character. And then there's a thing where you write for them, and then you have them storyboarded and animated, and then they started telling you how they want to be written. Speaking of Sokka, that was a character where we had an idea in our head that was a little different. But I don't get it. I don't like, what's the word? Like, I don't like linger on like, well, I don't know. In my head 2 years ago, he was going to be this way. It's like, this is what he's this is what he's growing up. I don't mean Janet. I mean like the character grows, you know, and we just respond to that. And I forget what I probably thought they were going to be beforehand.
Yeah. There were a couple of questions about my favorite running gag in the entire series, the cabbage guy. When did you guys realize that was going to be a running gag throughout the entire series?
Mike and I, we resisted.
Yeah.
That was not our favorite joke. Sorry to the guy who dresses up as a cabbage. And yeah, we did include it in Korra just because it was like out of hand.
Well, it's funny too because it wasn't like, oh, every episode there's a cabbage guy. It's like, I don't know how many times he showed up, like 2 or 3 times, I don't know. But I mean, it's cool that people enjoyed it. He came back in the comics too. He came back in the Rift for you see his little cabbage hut that Aang goes to. So
It was
he's around.
We had a bigger writing staff on Avatar than we did on Korra, and I don't remember exactly who came up with it, but it was like the writers loved it, and Mike and I were always like,
We're like, all right, whatever. It's just a little quick joke.
yeah. But I liked what we did with it in Korra.
Speaking of writing staff, since you did have sort of a smaller writing staff for Korra, what did you? How was that transition for you guys going from the larger staff on Avatar to a smaller staff on Korra?
I liked it a lot. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a drastic change. I mean, we went from like 6 people to 2, 3.
Well, first season.
Yeah. First season was just me and Brian, and then as we got picked up for more, we brought in Tim and Josh who had written on the original series. So it actually wasn't. In a way, it's kind of familiar because I'd worked with them. We had worked with them before, and so it kind of just flowed naturally.
Yeah, and we had a great staff on Korra, or on Avatar, and I mean, some of like network sitcom animation, you don't have like 20 people in the room. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So it was already a pretty tight knit team on Avatar, but Korra was a shorter. The seasons were shorter, and Mike and I had been writing together after Avatar, so we were already in this group, and we were like, it'd be really fun to just write this thing ourselves, kind of like a long movie or something. So it was fun.
We got a couple questions about Korra merchandise and when they can see some statues and stuff. And obviously, you guys have already seen the Lin Beifong statue because you're all fans. That Nickelodeon was debuting here at the show. But also, if you come by the Dark Horse booth, we actually have a prototype Korra statue on display that will be available in 2016. I don't have a picture of it for you here, but we do have it at the Dark Horse booth. Please come by. It's behind glass, so you can't touch it. But you can look at it and take a lot of pictures, which is great. We had some questions asked about specifically about the Avatar comics and how far you guys are planning to go to fill that sort of 70-year gap between Avatar and Korra.
Every year there's going to be a spin-off. These things like it's kind of like a TV show where you get like, oh, we're going to get picked up again? Like, it's not like we have like, okay, we got 30 stories we're going to tell for this thing. It's a little bit like kind of figuring out as you go along, which is what, in a way, you do in TV. You have kind of like the bigger overarching arc of like where these characters are going to end up, but along the way, you got like, okay, what's this next volume going to be? So we have this one coming out, and then Gene's working on the next arc of 3.
And And that's going to be the format that it's always that we're planning ahead for. It's going to be those 3 small volumes, and we get that nice, lovely hardcover with commentary from you guys.
No, it's commentary from Gene and the
you guys
artist.
chime in sometimes.
I did once.
Yeah, you did that one time.
One of the questions had asked a logistic question, which I always like to throw in at least one of these. How did harmonic convergence give the power of airbending to the non-bender population?
I don't know the scientific reason exactly.
You can make something up, they don't know the difference.
I know, we always talk about it as just the energetic shift in the universe and the almost like that the world has this consciousness and it's kind of like rebalancing itself in a way where it's like, the airbenders are almost gone, like this one opportunity to kind of reset things a little bit.
Yeah, it's sort of like an energy balance. It's like recalibrated. So there's crazy stuff I've read that our planet would if the temperature would rise due to atmospheric stuff, it would recalibrate and always stay if there would be a bunch of I'm messing this up because I don't have
No, it sounds great.
the data in front of me, but it's really interesting. You look at this all the scientific data that the Earth would always recalibrate itself, and so it's not like oh no, Steve lost his airbending, we better it's not like the Earth was thinking of it that way, but it's just sort of this natural rebalancing.
It's maintaining natural balance.
That's thank you. Get much sleep. Got a hard time.
You guys are working on your own projects now. Brian, Thread Worlds.
Yeah.
Your illustrated books, Geniuses.
Yeah, we're excited to finally be able to tell you at least you guys in line, we can't talk about what we're working on.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's out there. We didn't break up, but we are working on different things.
How's that been for you guys working on those projects? I mean, and not having been able to talk about it at all until now.
It's been really fun to, like I described earlier, the Cora crew is amazing, and I love all of them, and working with them was great. But I finally feel like I'm at a point in my career where, when I first graduated, I was really scared to be that artist alone in the studio. I was like, I need to be on a team and work on a big project, towards a common goal, and it's 17 years later, and I finally feel like I'm ready to be alone, chipping away at something in the studio, and so it's been really nice to just kind of just be in this headspace by myself and just see what I can do. It's not about it's not like a I need to control everything. I'm kind of wow, can I really hold up as an artist and writer on my own? So it's been a fun challenge.
Yeah, and writing a book is something I've always wanted to do. I wrote a lot in college, short stories, whatever. But inevitably, and this was before Avatar, I got a cool idea for a story, and I'd get 10 pages into it, I don't know what happens next. I didn't understand how do you make a story. And really, Avatar and Cora and are working together on some other projects over the it was a good training for this how do you actually craft a story, and so finally felt ready to tackle this idea I've had for a long time.
I just told Mike that in writing, because I'm writing the first volume right now, and I started, I didn't even consciously realize this, but I didn't intend to do it, but I realized I had been writing notes as if I was having a conversation with Mike. So he wasn't even there, but I was just imagining what he would say back. So long, and it really helped me write notes.
Well, there were a lot of fan questions, and there was one that I get every single time I go to a convention. I'm sure you guys get it too. Are you guys going to do anything else with Cora? Is that ever going to happen?
We actually have an answer prepared. Screen. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hold on. All right. Let's see. See if I can find. Oh. guys are independent artists, first to know. This is an exclusive announcement just for you guys. Take pictures, put it on Twitter, put it on Tumblr. Let them know for us, coming back. And Mike DiMartino is at the helm.
We are excited to write some comics for these guys. So yeah, Brad and I have been kicking around some ideas. I'm going to be writing scripts, and then we are still looking for an artist. But it's going to be a good, it's going to be kind of similar structure to the Avatar comics, the 3 volumes. So the first one, we're definitely going to focus on Korra and Asami's relationship. Kind of the aftermath of what happened in Republic City and kind of picking up the pieces, pretty soon after the series ended. So we're not jumping ahead about 10 years or anything.
So as I described earlier, it's tough for me to have our characters and our world and the stories continue on like it's some other team, and so when everyone was, not everyone on the outside, but when Dark Horse and Nickelodeon were like, we'd like to do horror comics, and I knew I was really busy on our projects, and I was like, it's gonna be really hard to find another dream team like Gene, you're here, and I was like, I don't know, and then Mike's like, I want to write it, and I'm like, awesome, and they couldn't, it's Mike, I couldn't believe, he wanted to write them, that's great, he's got time to do it, he's making time to do it, so now I'm super excited, and yeah, I've